It's going to have the same flywheel effect as Michael Saylor buying all these billions of dollars of Bitcoin, except Michael Saylor is bankrolling QUAI, basically, inadvertently. Alright, friends, I am in motion, so I gotta keep it groovy and I gotta keep this flow going and good. But today we're gonna talk about the direction of this channel. I just recently reclaimed control of it. It was banned for many years, and after Susan Wojcicki over at YouTube passed away, about a year later, they just kind of reversed course on topics like COVID and the sacrosanct election that was 2020. You know, we all know well, yeah, we'll just not even bring it back up, because what we're talking about today is more important than anything in the political sphere. Today what we're talking about is your personal autonomy, your free will, and how you engage in the universe and use it and apply it with knowledge and discernment to make better choices that will benefit you in the long run, hopefully. And one of those choices that I am personally making is investing in a cryptocurrency called QUAI, QU.AI. That's the website, QU.AI. I'm not going to give you a crypto spiel just right about yet, but if you haven't noticed, the name of this channel is called Greedy for QUAI. And so maybe some of you were here from the video that I put out that went very viral and got this channel monetized and what have you, of McKenna and Little Beach and a Sunday, you know. That was from a time prior to COVID, and you know, the world is still kind of a magical place, and it still can be. You know, we live in a infinite universe. We're just range bound by thermodynamics. So the primary cryptocurrency that's on everyone's mind is Bitcoin. And so if you're a Bitcoiner and you have been for a long time, this coin that I'm talking to you about, it's called QUAI, you need to have it on your radar, because at some point it will be an issue for Bitcoin. But now I'm going to get to describing kind of what QUAI is for like the layman type kind of people that, you know, might not be necessarily technically savvy, but can intuit the properties of something. So we all know about Bitcoin. It has 21 million coins, finite supply, right? There's this thing called QUAI, and it's been around for about a year and some change. So it's still young. It's still like, you know, it's baby, you know, it's very delicate right now. But in December, they went through a change where they added other algorithms to their block reward and how it got divvied out. Before, it I believe, was merge mining just on Raven Coin, and I think to this day that's still the primary way that QUAI blocks are made. However, it has also added 2 other host chains, we'll call them, and I'm going to use big words. It's a hierarchical merged mine coin, which means that it aggregates throughput from a bunch of different other coins that it's associated with. So earlier I was talking to about Raven Coin, and I think that's how it gets 5-second block times. But the other coins that are associated with QUAI in this process are Bitcoin Cash, SHA-256, Script, so Litecoin and Dogecoin. So yeah, Raven Coin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And basically what happens is you can merge mine one of these coins and have a flag that you're on Team QUAI. And what recently happened on QUAI is they implemented a protocol change to incorporate Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and Dogecoin, and divvied out the blocks after that. But this is something recent. It's only about 3 or 4 months old, this whole process that I'm talking about. So we're in the very early stages of a coin, and if you know anything about how markets happen over time, is that eventually more interest, meaning not like the kind of interest that a bank gives you, but interest into the definition of personal awareness and desirability for the best outcome for one's own life. Interest in that context means something else. I'm interested in you, what have you, and your well-being, and I want you to succeed in life, and I want you to be rich and manifest all your dreams, right? And I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm telling you to take control of your life and make decisions that are, you know, there's like the plebs and the sheep and everyone just following the crowd and just buying Bitcoin here 16 years later because, you know, some guy at BlackRock told you to. Here's the truth about Bitcoin is that it's been totally co-opted. It's not cypherpunk anymore. And it's just true, you know. When you grow to at least $1 trillion in market cap, that's just what happens. And so my thesis is the same way that it took Bitcoin 16 years to get to $1 trillion market cap, more or less, at least. You know, there's other coins that can perform similar or even maybe on a condensed timeline. And I think QUAI is one of those coins because eventually it's going to incorporate Bitcoin into this, it's called SOAP, Subsidized Open Asset Acquisition Protocol. And this is happening only on QUAI as far as I'm aware of. They're the only blockchain out there that's doing something like this. But they're proof of work, and they're kind of, you could describe them as like a parasite chain, in that they hijack the block subsidy of all these coins that they're merge mining, and you don't get those coins, you get QUAI, right? And you're like actively contributing to maybe the downfall of these coins, or in a crazy way you're competing for their hash rate, and that's kind of the whole kind of gimmick about QUAI, is that it's going for that kind of like energy kind of trip, but it's bringing the competition directly to Bitcoin, because right now Bitcoin exists in kind of like a bifurcated system where there's SHA-256 coins out there. There's Bitcoin Cash, and there's Satoshi's Vision, and other SHA-256 coins out there. But the issue with the SHA-256 coins is that there's a lot of hardware out for them. And that's why the difficulty on SHA-256 coins is you could put one out, but it's just going to get co-opted by the hardware that's out there. And Bitcoin has existed in a silo cryptographically by sticking to SHA-256, and all the coins exist in a silo, at least the ones that are proof of work. So Litecoin uses Scrypt, SCRYPT, as its hashing algorithm, right? And so the issue why QUAI doesn't mine Bitcoin blocks today, it mines Bitcoin Cash blocks, is for a technical reason, but just more plainly, the hash rate on QUAI isn't big enough yet, because like I said, it's a baby, it's a 1-year-old coin. In Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, they have different difficulties, and it's a lot easier to secure Bitcoin Cash blocks than it is Bitcoin blocks. So that's kind of, I think, why the devs chose that choice just immediately. And then eventually, as more hash comes onto the network, they'll branch out into Bitcoin, and they'll get subsidy from that. And so basically, in the layman's view, and so what I'm going to do when I cut this up in my editor is I'm going to put what I'm going to say next at the beginning of the photo to keep your attention. I meant video, and whatever. But basically, I'm going to have to rewatch what I just said because I was on a roll. But basically, when it eventually does get on Bitcoin, QUAI eventually merge mines Bitcoin as well. Oh, here's what I was getting at. It's gonna have the same it's gonna have the same flywheel effect as Michael Saylor buying all these billions of dollars of Bitcoin, except Michael Saylor is bankrolling QUAI basically inadvertently, because if someone on QUAI Network merge mines a block, they don't get the block reward, they get the QUAI, right? But another kind of tangential thing from that is that all that Bitcoin goes to buying QUAI in the open market and burning it, or if you mine QUAI, you can lock your rewards for a year and get up to 25% more of your QUAI, but that requires you having to lock your coins for a year. And the issue with that is that most of the subsidy for QUAI is going to be over in 2029, so at the beginning of 2029, so really 2028. And so you still have some time here in 2026. You have like 3 years to basically accumulate a huge bag of QUAI, and I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to go sideways for 4 years. There's obviously going to be halvings, and it always raises kind of the baseline, but you got to think of it in terms of like percentages and multiples and opportunity costs in life, right? So it took 16 years for Bitcoin to get to $1 trillion, right? And let's say we're going to 100 trillion, which means $1 a Satoshi, right? We're gonna hit Satoshi dollar parity sooner than you think, right? And in a world where it's $100 million of Bitcoin per Bitcoin. I easily see, so if we're at 1 trillion right now market cap, let's see, 100x from here is how you get to 100 trillion, right? 1 trillion, 100 trillion. So in a world where there's $100 trillion Bitcoin, one Satoshi, you know, a dollar, and then you have this chain that's like a parasite on it, I easily see QUAI taking at least 1% of the market cap of Bitcoin, and that's when we get to $1 trillion market cap on QUAI. And so right now, it's 2 pennies, and for it to be $1 trillion market cap, it needs to be 1,500. So think of how rich you're gonna be when you turn every 2 pennies that you put into this coin into $1,500 at some point in the future. At some point in the future. Basically, you just accumulate like a sociopath at every price between 2 cents and $1,500 dollars. And Bitcoin's gonna do its thing. TikTok next block, right? But yeah, so think of the opportunity cost, right? What's a better probability? Maybe Bitcoin getting to doesn't matter. Bitcoin's gonna be $100 trillion someday, and you can't be naive. There's like, these things don't exist in a silo, you know. Bitcoin kind of raises the ship for everyone, and when you have a protocol that's hijacking the most expensive subsidy in the world, $100 million blocks. Think about the volume going straight to QUAI, you know, every 10 minutes. The math gets real fast. So it's like, if there's an inevitability coming just from a physics standpoint, like I'm getting my buckets ready, right? And so I am accumulating QUAI on a long-term basis like a sociopath. And I started this process in January, and we're in April, and I've accumulated some QUAI between January and April. So yes, do I have a head start on you? Yes, I do. Okay. And that's why I am greedy for QUAI, right? I could have shared and made a video like this in January, but I didn't. I acted out of my self-interest, and I front run all of you that are watching this, all 8,000 of you on my channel. And it's not like I'm dunking on you guys. A lot of you guys are just, you know, here when I was talking about COVID and like I said, that election, and some of you guys are here from that kind of stuff, and that was my alarm cutting me off. But basically, I'm almost home anyway, so I gotta condense this. I'm gonna edit this out anyways. What's it called? Yeah, so we got a situation here where if you have an imagination and you can like see a future that's probable and coming, then you want to prepare for it. And so I'm hoping this video, like, just, I hope the YouTube algo kills it and just nukes it and sends it to 0, and nobody watches this and nobody takes like this advice, because the less people that take my advice, the more QUAI I can dunk on and accumulate faster than you can, hopefully. But I got home, so I gotta end this video. But if you don't know where to start, just start with buyquai.com, and then yeah, go from there. And yeah, I guess you gotta get QUAI wallet set up and all that. But if you go to QU.ai and you join all the social media pages, then you could probably figure it out on your own. But yeah, I just got home and I gotta get ready for my second job, because I live in Hawaii and you need 2 jobs to make the bills here. So I'm going to my second job because capitalism demands it of me, but I gotta be home and get ready and do this and that. So aloha from Maui, QUAI Nation.